everybody, it's so good to be back in the kitchen. I think it's been so long since I've done a video, but I've been wanting to do this video for quite some time. I have a special guest in the kitchen with me today. With quarantine, we've been trying to plan this for quite some time, but we finally got to do it. And without further ado, can you introduce yourself to us?
I'm May Harris. I'm going to show you how to make my famous fried oysters.
This is famous oysters. Everybody all over the town knows about her oysters. They're so good, and she was so nice to let me in her kitchen and see how she makes it. So what is the first thing we need to do?
We're going to wash the oysters.
Okay, so you're going to wash the oysters. So this is about a quart of oysters. Now, the oysters that she has are like the fresh oysters that were shucked. And you shuck them out of the shell. But you can also buy the ones in the store, right?
Yes, you can.
And so oysters normally, just by nature, can be very sandy. So this is why you're rinsing them.
While I'm washing the oysters, because
so you want to make sure you get all the sand
out
right, because that'll just be not good.
So you just toss them until you see that it's clean, and you can tell.
What is your kind of go-to thing to know when they're clean? The water?
Yeah, when the water gets clear. Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, also another thing, you did save the oyster, the liquor as we call it. The juice from the oysters, we saved that because that is going to be another part to the recipe. So make sure whether you're shucking them fresh or if you are doing them from the container, save the juice because it is an important part of the recipe. So
your oysters need to be what may I say? You can't have them wet. They're not going to.
So they need to be dry, as dry as possible, because the batter needs to stick. Yep.
The batter needs to be stiff, right?
So do you just do it that way, or do you put paper towel?
Nope. I just do that and let it drain them as good as I can. Then I set them in. The rest of it will do it for itself.
They smell good. Those are really fresh. And these oysters, you said you got a bushel that your brother helped to shuck. A whole bushel of oysters. So these are very, very fresh. Okay, so those are good and drained.
Yeah.
All right.
So
you're just going to let them sit there?
Let them sit there.
Okay.
Now I'm coming back over and making my batter.
Okay.
So I'll start with...
Okay, so show everybody what you're using.
Oh, this is a new, this was Auntie Mama.
Exactly, I remember that.
Now it's with Pyramid
Milling Company.
And it's buttermilk.
And it's complete. So that's the one that you don't have to add eggs or anything to.
Nothing.
It's complete, okay?
That's right. So I just...
And so you're eyeballing it. It looks like so far you have a little over a cup.
Well, because I don't measure.
It looks like by all you might have 3 or 4 cups of. It looks like about 2.5, 3 cups of the pancake mix. And this is something that, if you are from Maryland or the East Coast, you will know what this is. This is Old Bay seasoning. We use it to make crab cakes, to cook steamed crabs. It is kind of our staple here, especially in Maryland, for seasoning.
For seafood.
Yes.
So I'll put, this is a half a teaspoon.
Oh, half a teaspoon of Old Bay. And a little goes a long way with Old Bay.
And I'm use
season oil.
Some season oil.
Okay.
But a half a teaspoon.
About a half a teaspoon. Okay. So far, so good. Pretty simple.
Then I do my onions. Okay. I cut up my onions. So I'm gonna cut them.
I love your knife.
It's so old. Yeah, this is so old. But anyway.
And so these are going to be like a fine dice.
You're going to dice your fun. You can dice these as big as you want.
Oh, really?
I always do them kind of fine.
Okay. And that's another kind of like ingredient that a lot of people might not know is in there, but it adds a lot of flavor.
Yeah. A lot of people don't like onions.
But they don't even know it's probably in there, and they still eat it probably.
Yes.
So I was going to ask you about this recipe. Where did this recipe come from? Is this something that you made up or someone taught you?
No, I was at a cousin's house, and she was putting them in her oysters. And I said, well, that's something new. So I tried it on a couple of people, and they liked it. So
it became your signature recipe.
Right.
And you make this, where do you make this? I've heard some news that you made it at a lot of different events.
I do it for friends, family, and I did it at the bull roast.
And so for people that don't know what a bull roast is, what is a bull roast?
A bull roast when you cook beef and chicken and have a little.
It's like a fundraiser. People come and they can get roast and other types of meats like fried chicken, and there's all kinds of delicious sides. And so you made your oyster fritters at the bull roast. And I think that's what might have been where my mom had it. She was the one who told me about this, and I said, oh, well, I have to try to get the video for this.
Right.
That looks good.
Damn.
Is that all the onion you're going to use?
Probably so.
So that's about 1 to 2 tablespoons
of onion.
Of onion, finely diced.
Right.
Okay.
And then I use the juice.
So this is the oyster juice. You know, something that you told me is that you do need to strain the oyster juice because there could be some sand.
Right.
And so you need to make sure you do that prior. Right. But this is an awesome way. I would have never thought to use the oyster juice. It adds more flavor.
Yeah. It's a lot of flavor in the oyster juice.
That is such a great idea.
Right. So if you don't have enough oyster juice, then you use a little water.
Okay, water. Okay.
But you don't want it. You want it thick. You don't want it to be loose.
Is it like a pancake batter?
Like a pancake batter, but not as loose as a pancake batter.
Okay. And so you're just kind of eyeballing it. So this is where you have to use your kind of
imagination.
Your imagination, or just kind of a little at a time, really. And one thing about pancake batter, like the prepared one, it's a little more forgiving as far as over mixing. If you make it from scratch with regular flour, sometimes you have to be careful not to over mix because you get a tough pancake. But these ones, you can kind of mix it a little more.
Yeah, but if you put too much water, and with the juice from the oysters, it's going to make it too soupy.
Mm-hmm. So it has to be just right.
It has to be just right.
It's a perfect science, I think.
Okay, so this is kind of oysters.
That's good. Oh wow. Okay, so let's show. So this is the actual because once you add the oysters, it'll loosen up a little.
Right.
So that looks good. Did you want me to pass you the oysters?
You can pass me those. Okay. That will be it.
Oh wow.
These them out.
I think I know what's going to happen. So the oysters do have a little bit of moisture, and as you stir, it will thin the batter a little more. See, as you can look, I'm looking at it as she's doing it. It is starting to loosen up.
Yeah.
Wow. And so when you did the bull roast, how much do you think you were cooking at a time? How many oysters did you cook?
More than this bowl.
Full of oysters? Maybe like a gallon worth or so?
At a time.
Oh, wow. Did you have any helpers?
Yes.
Okay. That's a good thing.
My daughter.
Oh, we have to let your daughter come in at the end, so we can show everybody.
Yeah.
Because she's a big part of your life, so we need to definitely include her.
Put a little more juice in it.
Okay.
A little teeny bit more. But you don't want it too bad, too thick, too thin.
Mm-hmm. That is interesting. It's very simple. I mean, it looks like maybe 3, and you're just dropping them into the batter. Okay. So we need to heat up the oil.
Okay, so look, this is one thing that I really wanted to show everybody. We went from this really thick batter. I was trying to think of what it looked like. Sometimes when you make a cornbread, it's thick, sort of like that too. But now it's a lot more loose. And so you did a little test. So that's how you know if the oil is, hot. So you use canola oil, and it's about 1/4 of an inch thick.
Right.
So now we're gonna fry these up.
Right.
And so what you're doing is you make sure you get one individual.
In a teaspoon.
1 teaspoon.
I use my teaspoon, and I just rock one at a time.
Wow, they look really good. And it kind of keeps its little shape too, that way.
Right. A lot of people, they don't like a big
fritter.
They like the small fritter.
And so, depending on how hot your oil is, I think you have it sort of like at 350 degrees.
Yeah, something like that.
And it's starting to brown already. Doesn't take long, huh?
Don't
So once
take
it
long.
browns on the one side, you're just browning it on the other?
Flip it over. Let it brown on the other side.
Oh, these look really good.
And if they're real tiny, you can put like 2 in a.
2 oysters per fritter. Yeah.
Yes.
They do kind of spit at you a little bit, don't
They will. Yeah. Especially if they're poor.
And so you're not trying to overcrowd the pan as well.
Not.
Just enough.
Just
Because they
enough.
need space.
They need space.
Yeah, that looks good.
And then
I love your little fork.
this is my grandmother's.
That's your grandmother's fork.
Right, and I use it all the time.
And I love using things that come from family members.
My grandmother.
So how old do you think that fork is?
But 100 years old.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Look how golden they are. They look really good.
That's the way you want them.
We have a pan where we're going to line with paper towels to drain
The oysters.
the oysters.
Yeah. I like them nice and brown.
That's good. And what is your favorite thing to serve them with? By themselves, or do you dip them in anything? Or mainly people eat it by itself?
Some people they want hot sauce on them. Some people want ketchup on them. But
Mainly just by
mainly
itself.
mainly by itself.
I'm so excited to try it. And my mom told me a really interesting way to know when oysters are in season. Do you know this?
No.
If you, oysters are in season any month that has the letter R in it.
Really?
So,
I didn't know that.
We are in November, the end of November. And so, of course, it has an R in it. So that would be, the months that it would not be in season would be May, June, July, and August. All the other months, I believe, have R in it. So that's how you know if the oysters are in season. My mom said she would never eat an oyster when it's not in season. That's just her, but it's just kind of a good rule of thumb to use.
Because it's not fresh.
It won't be
It's not-
fresh. And with
You know.
oysters, especially seafood, you want to make sure that you're getting fresh.
Right.
Oh, so they're nice and golden brown.
Nice
It took
and
about maybe 3 minutes.
If the your oil temperature is right, sometimes
Right.
it takes longer than that. And these are doing really good.
They look really good too. But I can only imagine if you are cooking for like a big event like that, having to stand, you'll be frying for quite some time.
All day long.
All day long frying fritters. That's a patience. You gotta have patience.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Oh my goodness, and a lot of love. See, that's the thing about cooking.
Yeah, right.
A lot of it is just love. The love that you put into it, that's really what adds even extra special value to it.
Right. Some people don't like the weight. But then,
So when you were giving them for the oyster, for the bull roast, how many did you give? How many
it
did
was
they get?
8 to
To an order?
order.
Okay. That's pretty
Yeah,
good
8 to
amount.
order. It filled up the
Container?
container. And they were satisfied. They would come back after more.
Okay. Well, we're going to continue to fry these oysters, fritters, and once they're all finished, we are going to show you how to eat them and bring some more special guests so we can all taste it. And, food is more enjoyable when you have it with family and friends. So we'll be right back once they're all done. So we have these beautiful, look how golden these fritters are. This is what you really want. It's just have it nice and golden brown on both sides. And we are going to try it. I want to introduce the family that came to all taste this. So introduce yourselves as you go along.
Yes, I'm Vera. I'm May's oldest daughter.
I'm Doreen. I'm May's youngest daughter.
Oh.
And I'm Maud. I'm May's sister-in-law.
I'm Josephine, and I'm May's sister-in-law.
So everybody is here to enjoy these fritters. And so, I think when you have something like this that is delicious, it's best when you share it with family and friends. So everybody that you want to try, those who would like to try one. And this is the first time that I get to try it, so I'm so excited. I'm going to use my hand. I'm just going to use my hand.
My mom doesn't usually eat her own cookies.
You don't eat it? Well, look, I'm going to try it.
Hey, you tell me how it is.
These are so good.
Delicious.
Really, really good. And when the oysters are nice and kind of like fatty like that, it really just bursts in your mouth. So good. And the flavor, you can really taste the onion. Like the onion is like in the background.
But not overwhelming.
And the Old Bay is not too old. Everything is such a good balance. And you came up with it yourself?
Yes.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. It's so sweet for you to let me into your kitchen. Now I have to think of what we're going to make next. Now you're an expert in the kitchen, so what's the next thing we're going to make? So everybody, I hope you guys get to try this at home with your family and friends. I'll have the recipe posted. Some of the things you can measure, but then other things you kind of have to eyeball. But hopefully this video will give you a really good helpful hints to make this at home with your family. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here, and we'll see you next time. Bye.